They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What an excellent day for an exorcism.
It was pure evil.
Here's Johnny.
Well, we're back for another episode of OKLA Bloodcast. And this is Brent.
Yeah, it's Kenny.
And we are here to bring you another double feature featuring two movies, Trilogy of Terror and Cat's Eye.
Two anthologies.
There you go. Indeed. So my voice is probably going to just puss out. So it is completely intentional that I'm going to let Kenny talk way more
Why
than
would
me.
you do that to these people?
Well, hopefully you can manage to talk way more than me, because
Right.
if not,
Hey, it's going to be a short
I'm
podcast. Trilogy of Terror. This one came out in 1975, and this was actually an ABC, made-for-TV ABC movie.
right.
And, of course, had Karen Black. And Karen Black's been in so much stuff. I mean, just crazy. And, you know, to the younger people, she was Mother Firefly in
The first one.
House
yeah.
of Thousand Corpses. So, yeah, pretty interesting. And I actually reviewed this last night, and I'd totally forgot that Commandant Lassard was in the second clip of this from Police Academy. The second episode was
It was the twins, right?
the twins, but it was
Yeah. It ended
it's
up
all
being
one person,
right.
you know. But yeah, and he was, I believe, her doctor. That
Oh, yeah. You know, I never put it together.
yeah,
I don't know why I didn't, because now it's like, shit, it is obvious. I just didn't realize that was him until...
Yeah,
That's
no,
hilarious.
that's crazy. I when I was reviewing it last night, I don't know how I missed it the last time I watched it. you
Yeah,
know?
I didn't catch it, and even now, it's like it didn't click with me till I really thought about it for a second. And that's kind of ironic, too, because I can't think of the character's name, but the tall blonde from the Police Academy movies
Yeah,
is the one that replaced Karen Black.
Yeah, in House of a Thousand Corpses.
Yeah, she ended up being in Devil's Rejects and the...
Devil's Rejects. Yeah, I'm
Right.
sorry. Yeah, I got them mixed up. But
Yeah.
so that was pretty interesting. Now, that third section with the little
the voodoo doll thing.
man, that was weak.
Yeah,
It
it was just stupid.
I'm like, why would you have that?
Maybe at the time, because we hadn't already seen like Chucky and all these other things like that.
Well,
maybe.
yeah.
Maybe it was better. I don't know. But I mean, yeah, the twist, the first two stories were pretty solid, right? Like, I called the second one.
Right.
So you got like the first one with the professor at the college that, you know, it starts off, you think that the student is seducing her and then kind of date rapes her and takes all these pictures and blah, blah, blah. And then it kind of, the twist is that,
That she actually enticed it to happen.
right, which I will say, like, I didn't know where that one was going. I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, it wasn't like a mind-blowing twist, but it was still like, okay, cool, fair enough. you know.
Right.
Solid for a made-for-TV
Exactly.
effort.
And the second one, it was very predictable.
Yeah, you called it like within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe for its time, maybe it was different because, like, now we've seen so many movies that have done, like, you're used to, like, now you're like, okay, where's the twist? Like, every time you watch a movie like that, you know?
Exactly. You know, and it's refreshing when you do see it, like a new twist on something, you know, like Identity.
I don't know if I saw that one.
That one has John Cusack and the girl from The Whole Nine Yards, the one that wants to be the hitman.
Was that Amanda Peet or whatever?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Skinny brunette.
Yeah. And that movie. It's intense, but man, it has just such a cool twist at the end. Almost when it gets almost to the end, you can almost kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
But it's like
it's not clicking with me. And usually, if John Cusack's in something, I'm like, all right, I'm going to watch that, you know. But he's done so many that have flown under the radar too over the last 10 years that I might just not have known it came out.
Yeah, that one's definitely worthy of checking out. It's a good one. Yeah. Trilogy of Terror. It was okay. It's one of them movies that you can put on and use for background noise when you're working around the house or something.
I feel bad because it was a request, and we're just like, yeah, sorry, buddy, if you're listening, but yeah.
Well, and yes, it was a request, and actually, the person that requested this, I went to school with.
Oh, okay.
So they're my age, and we probably watched it at the exact same time when it came out on TV.
Right.
You know, and it was a whole. I would imagine. I don't remember, but I would imagine it was a whole lot better back then.
Seeing it on TV and being younger and
right. Yeah. You know,
having nothing to compare it to hardly.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I wanted to like it more than I did. You know, I was hoping for it was. I guess I still would call it a pleasant surprise. But I think that where it really lost me was the last segment, man. With I don't know if it was like some kind of weird voodoo doll that she had gotten from some overseas or what. But and then of course it comes to life and. It's just wreaking havoc, and it kind of kicks her ass all over the apartment or whatever. Right.
And then she traps it, and then it's like cutting through the box, and she's trying to grab the knife.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
And I'm like, what?
Why would you do that? Kind of funny, I guess, but
right. But the end when she's all and she's got the doll's teeth or whatever, and she's all hunched down like the doll
that was so stupid.
Oh, man, Karen, did you think that was a good idea? You couldn't have talked him out of that.
Somebody did, but yeah, it was that was a pretty gross ending. And not gross in the good way, just gross in the,
Yeah, it was not
terrible writing.
It wasn't really a bloody or gory. It was.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with too much on TV, I guess, but that doll actually reminded me of, you remember the movie Major League?
Yeah,
that little Joe Boo. The Jamaican guy.
Yeah, what was Joe Boo.
Yeah. I can't remember what the dude's name was, but yeah, the doll's name was Joe Boo.
No mess with Joe Boo. Right, he had it in his locker. Yeah, I remember that. No, that was Man, that did it. It looked just like Joe Boo.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that.
That's just what it reminded me of, like right out the gate, And it's really a bummer too, because there's a sequel which I didn't watch that. I don't know if you did, but
did not either.
Hard to be too motivated to do so, but that doll I noticed was like on the whatever, like the little
on the cover of it.
Yeah, whatever you want to call a cover.
Or
nowadays
cover.
On streaming platforms, it's we'll just
the main picture.
We'll still act like it's VHS and we'll call it the cover.
Yeah, no, it and I don't know why they chose that as because when it was first requested, and I got to admit I was like, I remember it but not really, and I looked it up and the picture of that doll came up. And I'm like, and then when I watched it, I'm like, why would they put that as the main, selling item of the,
I suppose it has some sort of, I don't know, like Chucky, Freddy Krueger, some kind of mascot, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you gotta have something to associate it with,
right.
Good or bad.
Yeah, which. It's definitely the weakest part of the whole movie, and then that's their selling point. But
you know, honestly, I really liked the first segment.
That one's good. I mean, because you don't really know where it's going. It's pretty creepy, and the guy's creepy.
Oh, he is way creepy, and he like gives her the date rape drugs and stuff, and she's like, "You drugged me," and you know, she passes out in the car, and you know, here's these photos, you know, and you're gonna want to hold on to these, and yeah.
So the whole time you're kind of like, man, this guy's like, he's the bat, which he was. He was a creep, so he kind of just got what he deserved, I guess. But yeah, it was, you know, and the second one could have been better. I feel like the second one could have been its own story. And so what really the first one could have too, right? Like you could make a whole movie out of it.
Yeah.
You would obviously have to thicken the plot a little bit. And,
More than,
Yeah, but I mean, the second one, it was like they could have done more to where you didn't call it right away.
Yeah, it was interesting to begin with. And probably, I'm guessing 10 minutes in, you're like,
it's the same girl.
It's the same chick.
Yeah.
You know? And then it just kind of fell from there.
Yeah. So, yeah, you got like the twins, supposedly, and the one's going to see the therapist and kind of talking about the crazy one that.
Yeah. And then the little girl outside, and she broke your sister broke my doll, and I'm like, yeah, and actually Karen Black looked really good with that wig on, I thought.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out the whole time. She's got like a weird look about her to where I'm like, is she hot?
I think at that time she had a good body. You know, it's just something with her eyes. To me, it's her eyes. She just, I don't know, like she has crazy in her eyes.
Well, some of us are attracted to that, so, you know. I guess, I can't separate her from the whole Mother Firefly thing, so I just keep picturing kind of that fatter version with...
Yeah,
just not really sexy at all. Just all crazy.
No, she was not...
The crazy went from her eyes and expanded out to the rest of her body.
Thickened her out.
Yeah.
But it was cool. You know, it's cool that she, you know, to this day, she's still working, that's pretty awesome, you know.
Well, is she still now, though? Or did she?
You know, I'm not.
I want to say, now we got to fact check this because I thought she died and that's why she was replaced by the other girl in Devil's Rejects.
You know, well, yeah, you could be right. I honestly do not know. I have not kept up with.
Yeah, she passed away in 2013.
Okay, so that was probably House was probably one of her last features.
Probably. I'm trying to think of when that came out. Technically, I remember seeing it in the theater, and it would have been about
2003.
22. Yeah, that sounds right. Yep.
2003. Yeah. So, wow, that's crazy. So, but no, like even pulling a picture of her up right here is young. She does not.
Yeah. Yeah. No, she looks kind of like the what's her name from Bewitched a little bit.
Samantha.
Yeah.
I don't remember what her real name was. The lady who played her. Anyway, there's as far as much more to talk about that movie.
I know.
There's not. I mean, we're trying to string this out.
I know. It's like, how much can we do? Because there's already spots in there. I'm going to edit out and make this even a little bit shorter. And it's a bummer. Sorry to the guy, to your buddy that requested it. I wish we had more to say about it. But
it was really, and like I said, when we watched it, probably as kids, I was 4 when it came out, so it probably was cool.
Yeah.
But as of now, it's just background noise. If it comes, I watched it on YouTube, and the first time I watched it when we was first discussed doing it, it was the first time it actually became background noise, just for something to have on while I was vacuuming and doing dishes and doing my chores around.
It's always a bummer when the next thing you know, you're like checking your phone. You're on Facebook.
Playing bingo.
I always think it's funny when people update, like, oh, this is the movie I'm watching. It's like, well, fuck, man. It must not be that good of a movie if you're on your phone. You're fucking
right.
on Facebook.
Yeah. Or the best ones when they're in a movie theater. Checking this movie out.
Yeah.
Really?
Get off your phone, asshole. That's funny. Yeah, I actually want to, speaking of movie theaters, I really want to go see the new Ghostbusters. And
Man, I want to see it.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched they had there's a thing on YouTube, and I was clicking through, but they found the original Ghostbusters, the Ecto-1, and they rebuilt that. And like Dan Aykroyd walks into the warehouse when they're after they got it done, and I mean, man, they did a lot of work to that thing. I mean, I guess it was like quite the find to actually find the original Ecto, but it was bad. It was in bad shape. You figure something that popular would be in a museum or somewhere, and it was like I guess not. It was like in some old barn or something. And
yeah, I mean, even like how successful it was back in the day, they probably didn't realize at first that it was going to be what it was, right? Like,
right.
It became like,
Right, exactly.
I mean, that's right up there with all the John Hughes movies of the 80s. I mean,
it's
one of my all-time favorite movies from my childhood is Ghostbusters. It's right up there. There's like the first Star Wars trilogy, Ghostbusters, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, well, mine were, the Raiders of the Lost Ark. I remember when my mom ran the movie theater, I think, say it was like 12, 18 weeks that it ran at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Raiders of the Lost Ark when it first came out. I remember just being there every night watching that just over and over and over. And it was just, Harrison Ford was such a badass,
It's so badass, yeah. And then that ending is like horrifying too. So it's such a
with the melting face.
Yeah, so it's such a great twist. Like you think back on it and it's like, man, that's really more brilliant of a movie than it probably even gets credit for.
Oh, I mean, absolutely.
Probably because really you look back and it's like the next two sequels, they held up, but
Temple of Doom, I've watched those recently, and Temple of Doom, it was okay. It was a good act. I don't know. There's just something about it. It just seems off kilter about a Raider or a Indiana Jones flick.
It's kind of spoofish.
Yeah, especially with the little Chinese kid.
Yeah.
I just was like, it's kind of cheesy, But the third one, the Last Crusade, with Sean Connery, I thought that was movie, I thought that was good. And then the new one, the one with the aliens.
Shia LaBeouf, and it's terrible.
I went
and saw that in the theater, and that was the last time I watched it. I haven't been able to bring myself to watch it again.
I've watched it a few times just because, and man, I want to like it.
Yeah, it's Indiana Jones, Now they're making another one. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They better redeem it somehow. I don't know how they're going to do it with him being so old and stuff, but
right. But yeah, I mean, Last Crusade and Raiders. I mean, Raiders is definitely the.
Oh yeah, that could have been the only Indiana Jones movie ever made,
and it would have been perfect.
It would have been perfect. Like, you never really needed a sequel, But yeah, see, that's how we fill an hour's worth of time on the show, and we have movies that we're not that excited to talk about. We just go talk about some other shit, But hey, Ghostbusters, new release. We haven't seen it yet. It's kind of horror movie news,
Yeah,
I've heard nothing but great things about it too.
I did see. I've tried to find some, and they're kind of keeping clips on the DL. I mean,
See, I've done the opposite. I try to ignore everything I've seen.
Really?
I really was excited to see it, and I planned on going last weekend, and it just was one of those things that wasn't in the cards for me, I guess. But my kids, you think they'd want to go see it?
And they're like,
they have no desire.
Yeah.
And Harry, he just doesn't like the movie theater. Right. It's weird. 6, you would think he would. But
yeah.
It's like, I think he is like still overwhelmed by loud noises.
And
And so he just doesn't seem to like the theater experience. So he has no desire to go.
Wow.
And then Dahlia's like, I don't like that movie as much as you, Dad. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
When I first heard, and they've been working on Afterlife for quite a while.
Yeah. Because it was supposed to come out last summer.
Right.
Like
and
2020, and then when the pandemic hit and everything, it just...
Yeah, and it kind of... But And I love all the chicks that was the actors in the last Ghostbusters.
No, they've all been funny as hell.
I
everything
love
else.
every one of them. But man, what a fucking dud, man!
It was a terrible movie.
I mean, it was. I remember I went over. I was actually watching.
It's
it
not
with
like
my
it was
grandkids.
their fault. It was a terrible script.
It was horrible, and I remember my granddaughter. She wanted to watch it, and I'm just like, I was excited to, you know. And then when I watched it, and I mean, right from the get go. I mean, it didn't even have a good moment from the opening to.
No.
It was like, and she's like, "Oh, I love this."
Yeah. I guess if you have no attachment to it and you didn't grow up watching it, you know, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's like one of my first movies I remember seeing, you know, so it's like, I just can't accept that.
Yeah, no,
You
and
know?
it was, and I hope they don't. I hope that's just like dropped from canon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like, sorry about that. This never happened.
Right. Yeah, that was like a spoof of what we're doing or something. You know.
Just kidding, guys.
Right.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I don't care that, you know, people act like because everyone hated it, it was just totally because we're all just sexist.
No.
Nah, fucking bad movie's a bad movie. I don't give
it was
a fuck if
I
it's...
love every one of them women.
Yeah.
That was every one of
Kristen
them.
Wiig, fucking hilarious.
Oh my god! And Leslie.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the black one.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
I think it's Leslie Mann, right? Or am I thinking of a different Leslie?
No, I think you're thinking of a different Leslie.
I can't keep names
think
straight.
of her name.
It's a good thing I don't like co-host a podcast about movies.
But no, every one of the and Jenny McCarthy.
Oh yeah, or her cousin.
Or
whatever.
yeah, not
Melissa
Jenny,
McCarthy.
Melissa McCarthy. Yes.
No, she's funny as shit in some stuff, and
I love every one of them. And Kate McKinnon. Oh my
yeah, she's
word! I
hilarious.
mean, I love her. All her SNL skits.
Yeah.
I don't like her. What's the phone commercial that's out now?
oh, that's stupid as fuck.
I hate it. I'm like, really, Kate? Come on, you know. She acts like she's very uncomfortable in those commercials, and I can see why.
Money talks, but she has an uncomfortable demeanor about her anyhow.
She
which
does.
is pretty good. That's what makes her funny. Like that's her quirk. That
Yeah,
is,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bummer. I mean, because that should have been better than it was, and you know, it really wasn't because it was an all-female cast that, you know,
It was just pure
it was
garbage.
just a bad script. They took a giant dump on everything. I mean, it just shouldn't have happened. But
No, you're absolutely right.
and actually, I really want to see the new Resident Evil.
Right.
Which I didn't even realize it came out until I was checking showtimes for the Ghostbusters movie, and I was like, "Oh well, fuck, that's out too."
Yeah, and I knew there was one. I haven't seen the last one yet.
I didn't either. I gave up on the Mila Jovovich ones.
Yeah.
I love her. I think she's hot as fuck.
Oh yeah. Well, she's definitely for the hot
and she's
chick
cool
episode.
as shit. Yeah. But it's like those movies just didn't make sense half the time. They're just all over the place. And
I know they are so hard to follow. The first one was really good.
it was okay.
You
It
know?
still bummed me out because like I remember playing the video game when it first came out, and it was legitimately like this horror zombie thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. And
And then that movie comes out, and it's like, well, it was cool. I was entertained by it and stuff. But it just didn't fucking pertain to the video game hardly
Nothing.
at all. I mean, it was just
Nothing
like,
less.
other than like Raccoon City,
that was it.
the Umbrella
Yeah.
Corporation, and that about summed it up.
Well, yeah, and I'm,
about the only
I
thing.
played that game. I played that game a lot, and I'm not a gamer, so it totally kicked my ass. I never made it through any of them.
Yeah, I
you
can't
know,
really remember. I'm not very good at playing.
but
video games.
and then when the movie came out, I remember being so stoked. I'm like, oh, and I'm like,
And it wasn't a horror movie.
it wasn't, and there was no. I mean, it was nothing to do with the game, really.
Yeah. It was just and every one of them just got more ridiculous with all the really crazy action shots.
Well,
and-
of course, that's you got to top your last.
Yeah.
And it's hugely successful
Yeah.
franchise.
Well, it's because, I mean, we would all line up to watch Mila Jovovich eat a bowl of cereal. So let's just get real here. Like, that's the thing, man. You got, like, eye candy and
Yeah, and
action.
zombies.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, they're fun enough, but I think this one looks like a breath of fresh air, you know?
Let's hope
Rebooting
so.
the whole thing.
Yeah, let's.
And it looks like it's more true to the video game. And
let's hope so. It's like Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Same way.
Yeah, those movies were.
Yeah.
There was cool things about them.
Honestly, I couldn't make it through the first one. I've tried.
Yeah.
I tried. I'm just like,
it's not a good movie. Well, I guess without further ado, we might as well move on to our second movie, which
yes.
may not take quite as much milking of the whatever. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm not going to lie, but
the next one.
This one, I at least grew up watching this and saw it a
Yes.
bunch of times as a kid, and Stephen King's Cat's Eye, which I haven't read this book. I've always wanted to go and
I've
read
never
the
read
book.
the book either. But I'll tell you what, the opening scene. Oh, I remember that opening scene because it had, at that point, all of Stephen King's works.
Oh, yeah.
Christine and Cujo. Right. And there was just everything in there.
Yeah, you got Cujo coming out chasing the cat.
Yeah.
Christine goes by. And it's funny because I think when I was a kid, I didn't catch all of that. For some reason, I didn't remember the opening sequence until I rewatched it here recently.
Right.
Because I probably hadn't seen this movie in, Jesus, I'll bet at least 25 years. I hadn't seen it since my childhood. Because it used to play on TV quite a bit.
Right. Well, and, there was an all-star cast in that, too.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
There was so many people in there.
Yeah, because I almost didn't realize. The one I remembered the most, obviously Drew Barrymore, who kind of is almost like the Karen Black in a way. Like
Right.
She's got like these different characters in the different episodes or segments or whatever you want to say.
With the troll.
Yeah.
And, to me, that was my least favorite.
Yeah, no, hands down. That one was, it was fun and kind of whatever. But so she was in that one, and then she was James Woods' daughter in the first one, too.
Yeah, was she?
There's the scene where he goes to her. Was it where he goes to her school? There's just one scene with her. And she looks quite a bit different. Like they kind of did her hair different
or something.
She had like glasses, like big glasses in that one.
I didn't catch that. I know she's the
mannequin.
Yeah, she's the mannequin in the store window that the cat sees.
She kind of plays like three roles, which I didn't really understand what the mannequin thing was about, unless that was supposed to be like a premonition of him,
of
the
troll.
cat going to help her save her from the troll.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, they didn't really make that clear whether that cat was on a mission, and then the troll sequence was the finale of that goal. Because he went through all the other stories.
Yeah, it was kind of funny going back and revisiting this because as a kid, I remembered certain things and then totally forgot other things.
Right.
Like I hardly remembered the middle.
Oh, right.
Thing with Robert Hayes, who, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
What was he in? Like,
he was Airplane.
Airplane and Starman and...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and then he was in... I forgot about this movie until I was looking his works up the other day, but Raw Justice with Pamela Anderson and... can't remember the other guy's name now off the top of my head, but...
Right.
Not to go down that rabbit hole, but...
That one. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, wow, yeah. I only remember that because, Pamela Anderson, and I was like, fucking, let's see, when did it come out? 94, so yeah, I was a teenager, so...
Right.
Obviously, I watched that movie.
That's one of my favorite skits in there, though, with Robert Hayes, where he has to walk the ledge.
Yeah, dude, I'm scared of heights, so fuck that shit. Like,
just kill me now.
I sat there and watched it and was just like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'd do. I would have never done it. I would have made an attempt to throw that fat cocksucker over the ledge.
Hey, go out fighting, right?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't have been able to go around that whole building. I don't know that anyone physically could have.
No.
You watch the shit he did, like climbing on the sign and stuff, and the sign falls. It's like, dude, that sign was made out of nothing. You put 200 pounds, like that dude's probably like my size, so probably 200 pounds. You put that on that fucking flimsy little wire metal sign, that little frame.
Yeah. And it's held by like one little bolt.
Yeah, and it like comes out and he's hanging on the motherfucker, and it's like, no, that's going to go. That's not holding 200 pounds. That motherfucker's falling to his death.
Absolutely. And the pigeon. I always get a kick out of the pigeon.
Oh, yeah.
Tapping on his foot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you see this,
And then like the times where the dude's fucking with him and stuff, trying to knock him off the ledge, and he arches way back. He's falling all the way back, but somehow catches his balance.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah. He's on his tiptoes on the ledge, and it's like, ugh, no, whatever. You're done.
You're done. You're not catching your balance on that. So yeah, that was probably the closest thing to a terrifying episode as far as the three go. I mean, I thought it was really the first one I always liked. When I was a kid, I even thought like, wow, that's really creepy. With
James Woods,
yeah.
Oh, the smoking,
and he quit smoking, and
it's like the mafia quit smoking method.
Yeah, I mean, they lock him in the room. He goes in there like, you know what? I changed my mind, and they're like locking the door, and they're like, too late. You're already with us.
Yep, you're stuck.
And then shock treatment on the wives.
That
and
was
shit.
great. That was I love that scene. But the one section of that was out of that segment, my two favorite scenes is when he sneaks into his den and he finds the cigarette and he's like going to light it and he hears a noise in the closet.
Oh, yeah.
And then he opens up the closet and you don't see anybody, and then he goes to throw something in there and like you hear,
yeah.
that was creepy. And then the every breath you take scene where it's playing too fast. Did you notice that?
Well, it's a re-recording. It's
Is that
not
what it
actually
is?
the police.
I thought it was. I thought it was sped up.
And I never realized it until watching it this time, and I was like, "That's not the police version." And so it's funny because every time I hear that song, I always thought of Cat's Eye. Because
Right.
I think the first time I ever heard the song, I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm watching this movie on TV.
Right.
So I've always associated that song with that movie, never realizing that it was not the original version. And so I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, that's not Sting singing.
Right.
So I was looking it up and like, yeah, it's like some generic ass cover band they basically hired to
Probably bought the rights and
play the song, so that I think they didn't have to, I think they probably just had to like license the song if they did that and didn't have to pay.
Right.
Whatever the fuck. I don't even care. But whatever all the legalities of all that bullshit is,
Right.
So I don't make enough music to. I don't make enough money playing music to know anything about that. So
well, that was a hit at the time too. So I mean,
yeah, it was pretty current. You
Yeah.
think about it, so because that was what 84.
I believe so. Yeah. So
Right. Yeah. So
the one scene with him in the car when he's on the bridge and traffic is stopped.
Oh yeah.
And he like finds the cigarettes in his glove compartment,
and the dude next to him speeds off and
yeah. But every time I've tried to quit smoking cigarettes, for some reason I'll be in the car and I always think of that because like my wife has always smoked, so I always have an ashtray and it's like, and I'll look down and see her like cigarette butts and I'll be like, I could just hit that once, and then I was like, oh, who's looking at me?
Yeah. I mean, hey, they say that cigarettes are the hardest thing. Like, I think Ozzy said that in an interview, and a few others have. Like, cigarettes were the hardest thing to quit over any of the other drugs or anything.
I will attest to that. Like I said, I've quit smoking cigarettes. I'm just on cigars now.
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't inhale them. Because that's the thing. If you inhale them and you start smoking as many as you did cigarettes, then my uncle did that. He quit smoking cigarettes, and then he was smoking cigars, and he basically ended up quitting because he's like, I just went back to cigarettes because he's like, I was just inhaling the cigar, so it wasn't any better for me,
Right. Well, I do, but I'm just trying to wean myself a little bit longer in between each cigar, So yeah, it's one vice for another.
You're probably not smoking the big fatties.
No, those little swishers,
Well, sometime we'll have to.
Oh yeah.
Hang out and have a big fat cigar and drink more
Get
than just
some
one
cognac and dip it.
There you go. Yeah, done that. I might have a bottle of cognac here somewhere. Anyhow, yeah. So I mean, I thought that was a pretty interesting take on that whole the smoking thing, because I mean that is probably what it would take, right, to like get a lot of people to quit smoking.
Yeah.
You practically have to threaten not only their life but
their family,
the ones they love and shit. And it's kind of
fucking
crazy, but I mean it's just almost like, no, that would probably work. That's probably the only program you could put out there that would work for probably damn near everybody.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and then of course when they're talking about, well, then we start taking parts of your wife or whatever.
Oh, and the twist at the end where they're having dinner.
Yeah, with the other couple,
and the wife reaches for the glass or something,
missing a
and she's
finger.
missing the pinky. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That was a good way to end that.
That was perfect. I loved it
because it was kind of like such a goofy little thing that was kind of just a fun twist. Like, it's not over.
It did work.
Yeah. And it's not quite over yet either. So
yeah.
And then so you got the second segment, where it's, I guess the guy's like a mobster, like a big time. I don't know what you got the guy with the gambling debt, Robert Hayes.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Or I'm assuming that, but he's fucking the dude's
the
wife.
Dude's wife. Yeah.
I don't know where I got.
Well,
the
she was
debt
planning
thing.
on,
maybe because it took place in front of the casino.
She was planning on leaving him for Robert Hayes.
Right. Like she was supposed to be meeting him like at the
airport or something.
Yeah. I guess did I just invent the whole gambling debt thing in my head?
No, he was because
it starts off at the casino.
Yeah, because he even bets on when it comes to the cat whether the cat can cross the traffic.
Oh yeah. The mobster guy, yeah. So I think maybe because of that, I was just tying Robert Hayes into having gambling debt. But now that I think about it, I don't know if there was anything.
I think he was a tennis player.
That's right. Yeah.
And they planted a bunch of coke in his car or something. And
sorry. Yeah, I was like putting my own
twist on.
Yeah. Somewhere I had like he also was a gambler, but I guess I think the whole thing with I'm just assuming he was like a mob dude, but whoever the villain guy was.
I think he was just a very high stakes, like a high roller type guy.
Just rich as fuck and lived at the casino. Maybe he owned the casino. Maybe his apartment was above the casino.
It could have been. But I don't
know why I want to know this, but
I often
need to read
wonder
the book now.
if they got the ending to 7 from that, because remember his wife's head was.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
I always quote that every time there's a box. I'm just
what's in the box?
I'm always just screaming, "What's in the box?" That's a great fucking ending too, dude. 7 is one of the most intense.
I love that movie, man.
And honestly, the ending's fucking awesome, but the best part of the movie is still when Kevin Spacey walks into the fucking police station covered in blood. Yeah. And he's just fucking covered in blood, and it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. 7, man, I remember the first time I watched that. And it was one of them that, you're watching and you get uneasy.
Oh, dude, it's disturbing. I watched it a million times when it came out, though, because it was so good.
So intense.
And it's like, some of it was really disturbing, but it was such a well-written movie. And it was one of those where, like, you're really, the character build and everything, like, you're in it.
Yeah.
You're in it with them, you know what I mean? Like, and that's what makes a great movie.
Well, and what's cool about that one is, when Morgan Freeman, when he goes back to his place, that's the whole wind down. And he has that metronome.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole, like, okay, let's get settled here because we're going to take you on another. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude, that scene with the dude that fucked the prostitute with the strap. That whole thing.
What in the hell? Who comes up with that?
Yeah, could you imagine if you walked into... If you were a screenwriter or director or something and you just walk into like a board meeting, like, okay, I got this idea. And it's about this movie where this guy kills everybody based on the sins, blah, blah, blah. All right, well, give us the most fucked up kill you got so far. All right, check this out. It's like, I can only imagine people would just be like, especially back then, because at this time you didn't have like, I don't know, all the fucking, like, what do they call it? Like torture porn and stuff.
Yeah.
All this shit that got, like, just way fucking out there. Like, Saw hadn't come out yet. Or
right.
Hostel. Those were, like, I think the word. I just don't even enjoy the Hostel movies.
I don't either.
With
I
you.
hate them. Yeah.
I don't. They're just fucking stupid. And,
yeah. And it's crazy that the Dumb and Dumber guy is one of the people in Hostel. The one that plays Harry.
Okay.
The young Harry in the
watched
Dumb and
that
Dumber.
Once. I've watched that once, and I've probably only watched Hostel.
The one that
time.
plays young Harry, that's the dude from Hostel, the blonde kid that gets killed.
Wow. Yeah, see, I haven't seen either one of those since they first came out, so.
Yeah, but...
And I did watch Hostel, too. But then when it ended with the chick cutting the dude's dick off and holding it up in the air, and I was just like, all right, I'm out. No more of this.
Speaking of dicks cut off, you ever seen Street Trash?
No.
Dude, you got to watch Street Trash by Synapse Films.
All right.
Classic, man. Classic.
I got to remember. I got to start writing all these down. I'm way behind on shit at this point.
I'll play you a trailer before I leave, man. You got to see this thing, man.
I'm so far behind on catching up with some of the crazy shit that you've suggested that it's like one of those. It's like, kids, I need you to go to grandma's for a week. Okay, I need the house to myself so I can watch all this fucked up shit. There's no way I'm watching it with you guys. And when you come back,
if I'm really fucked up,
just call every doctor in the phone book because it's probably going to take all of them to get me back.
Right. I've gone over the ledge.
So yeah, I mean, dude, with Cat's Eye, just to get back on subject, even though I'm finding our rants that are going off topic to be more enjoyable, but because I don't have much more to say about this.
No, I really
There's
don't.
There's not
either.
a lot. This isn't a very deep movie.
It isn't. It's it's a trilogy. It's got its great moments. It's got a lot of great actors for the time. Anthologies at that time were the thing. You had your creep shows, your Cat's Eye, your Trilogy of Terror. That was a common thing at that time.
The original Creep Show.
Oh, I love. Yeah. Where's my cake?
I almost was going to suggest, or I said Creep Show. I meant Tales from the Crypt. I'm sorry.
Oh, Tales from the Crypt.
But yeah, the original Creep Show is the shit. In fact, I think we should do it the next time we do an anthology episode. We could do like a double feature with the original Tales from the Crypt from the 70s and then Creep Show, because those are two of my favorites as far as the anthologies go. And I would probably have quite a bit more to say about those, but
I could go on, but we but back to
back to Cat's Eye. Well, I guess the only one we didn't talk about too much
was the Troll,
which it's like, I don't know.
It's there's not much to it. Okay, this girl's, this troll's living in her wall.
Yeah, cat comes, saves
cat
the day.
comes, and the troll's trying
Mom blames the cat
steal
for
her
everything.
breath because isn't it like a wives' tale that cats will steal children's breaths or something?
Yeah, like the grandma told her that, the mom that as a child, and
but here's this little troll trying to steal Drew Barrymore's breath, and then what's the general is the name, the cat's name, comes in and they fight the troll, and then the parents are like, oh, there is a troll.
Yeah. Oh shit, the cat's not bad, because the dad was kind of like the
asshole dad.
No, he was actually, it was the mom.
Oh yeah, what?
The mom was the one that was, that cat's got to go, and the dad was kind of like, oh honey, and and then because the troll kills the bird, and they blame the cat, kick the cat out, and then they take the cat to whatever, like the shelter where they're going to kill it.
Right.
And then he escapes and gets all the way back to their house to save her. And yeah, I mean, that's it.
That is it. And then the troll dies, and
it took us about a whopping, 5 minutes to sum up that entire movie. I think all the other time was filled with stuff not related to the movie.
Totally ranting about other things. But hey, it's all good, I mean, honestly, the Trilogy of Terror, on a scale of 1 to 10, now I would give it, I'd give about 4.
Yeah. I'd probably go lower.
Yeah.
Depends on what you're rating it as. Like, do I like it and want to rewatch it? I'm giving it a 2 for that.
Yeah. No.
Quality of movie, I'll give it higher. I'll give it more like maybe a 4 or 5. Yeah. Like, it wasn't a bad quality movie, and for its time, it was probably better than what I'm going to give it credit for.
At 4 years old, I probably would have rated it at a 7.
Yeah.
At 50, 4 is, that's giving credit to, okay, well, the filming technique they used on this one scene, it's reading into all that crap. It's not a great movie.
No, I
It's
mean,
and it's on YouTube. If you don't believe me, check it out.
right. Yeah, and Cat's Eye at least is a little bit better quality of a movie, you know.
I
but
can sit if Cat's Eye's on.
It's entertaining. There's something about it that's
Yeah,
entertaining.
yeah. It was nostalgic, and I can sit and watch it. It's okay. It's a good movie,
Decent acting.
and it's a Stephen King.
The story's fun in a way. Like, all of them are kind of fun in their own way. They're not really horror.
No.
More suspense than anything. The Troll's the closest thing to the horror thing.
And that's
And it's childish. It's
It
almost
is.
like they did it so they can market it to kids.
yeah. I do not like the Troll. I just don't like that whole clip.
It doesn't make much
That's
sense.
like the third clip. I mean, 2 Troll clips.
Yeah,
totally suck.
Yeah. The third part of both of these have some stupid, like, little thing that seems like it was marketed towards kids. And that's where the movies kind of shit the bed, you know?
Yeah. They lost all their drive and they died there. And then the credits rolled and thank you.
But Drew Barrymore, at least, is like, as a kid, she was she was a cute kid. Like,
Oh,
you liked
E.T.?
watching her. You like watching her act.
I mean,
she pulled you in. You liked her as a kid. I like her as an adult. I just think even as an adult, she's like adorable. She's just cute.
Yeah.
I don't even describe her as hot, right? Like, she's
You
just
know what
like,
though? She does have a sexy quality about her.
no, she does.
I mean, come on, The Wedding Singer.
Well, in that movie, that's a whole different story. That was the one movie where it was like, that was her best. She looked her best. She was fun in it.
Charlie's Angels.
I never watched those.
Dude, you got to watch.
I mean, I know.
Give him a chance, man.
All
Give him a
right.
chance.
They
And
just
Demi
look so
Moore.
dumb to me.
Oh, dude.
Well, yeah.
And she's one of the main bad guys in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Demi Moore.
I just thought those movies looked so terrible. I was like,
Oh, they are. They are.
don't get me wrong, they're bad, but it's like
yeah.
a bad movie with a hot chick's better than
Yeah.
a bad movie with an ugly chick.
What's Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
I mean, Lucy Liu.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's like you got your choice between two shitty movies. One is Charlie's Angels. The other is She-Devil with Roseanne Barr.
Yeah, I'll take.
What do you
Charlie's-
choose?
That's as bad as
All right,
like
point.
trying to pick the the Rosie O'Donnell and Dan Aykroyd movie. Is that
Rosie
Exit to Eden or something like that?
Oh shit, I forgot.
Where
about
they was
that.
in like bondage or something. It was Dan Aykroyd and Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like some like weird sex island or
That's
something.
so terrible. And who the hell would put Rosie O'Donnell in that on purpose? Somebody was really funny, actually. That is pretty funny now that you think about it. That's the funniest, fucking sickest joke.
Well, I can see why it's
anybody's
sold,
ever put on
like,
us.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
And
wasn't she like in the? Was she in another Stakeout too?
She might have been. God.
I feel like she was. I think those were the only two movies she was in, and then they just kicked her out of Hollywood, and she had to go do a TV show.
Yeah.
I made that up. I don't really know what the deal is, but I'm glad she wasn't in
Yeah,
movies
I'm
anymore.
not a Rosie O'Donnell fan. You know?
No. No, she's annoying.
I do not like her.
Kind of like Oprah. I think she's just a white Oprah.
She you're kind of right.
Like, there's this whole group of people that love and adore her, and then there's people that hate her. There's no in between.
No.
There's no one that's like, yeah, Oprah's all right. There's either people that just,
Not once have I ever, or intend on picking up a O magazine. Not doing it. I've never watched an Oprah show. You get a car and you get a car.
I got to
just know
tell
that
you,
from
you just said
clips.
O magazine. I don't even know what that is.
It's her own magazine.
I'm so fucking
line.
proud of myself
I've seen
right
them,
now.
I've seen them in Kroger's, like in the little like the checkout stands.
I just felt like I earned so much street cred by saying, like, I don't know what the fuck that is. That
Dude, you're killing it.
I'm the
And
baddest
how do we get
motherfucker,
from
I tell
horror
you.
to Oprah?
Well, that's actually would have
It is
made a
kinda
better.
scary.
That would have made a better horror episode, I think, to just talk about Rosie O'Donnell and Oprah.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, on that note, seems like a good place to end it. So
Yeah. No, we're good on that. No.
all right. Well, again, thanks for everybody listening, and stay tuned for more.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff coming up. Thanks.
If you are thinking about starting your own podcast, look no further than Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout made it so simple that even I managed to figure this out and put together my own podcast. Once you have all the gear you need to get started, Buzzsprout makes the rest of it super easy. Everything from getting you started on monetizing your podcast so you can make money, because who doesn't like to make a little bit of extra coin? And on top of that, the best part about Buzzsprout is you can get started and try it out for free. So head over to buzzsprout.com today and make your podcasting dreams come true.